in the 70s.
The Octopus was given a run for its money by the dreaded Skyliner, or American Eggs as they were known at the Hoppings. Were literally packed solid with sideshows, and if you never got the chance to see the Wolfman, for instance, then here you go. The summers of 76 and 77 were the hottest on record.
Fairground attraction, switchback action, satisfaction guaranteed. Razzle dazzle on the swish and the swirl. If you be my girl. Tonight's the night. It's gonna be the ride of your life. Electric lights shine so bright, high on the heat of the night. Twisting moon dance under the stars in cosmic cars. Tonight's the night. It's gonna be the ride of your life. Tonight's the night. It's gonna be the ride of your life. Tonight's fire. The night. It's gonna be the ride of your life. What's the night? What's the ride? The night. It's gonna be the ride of your life. Tonight's fire. The night.
At night, the glow created by over 500,000 light bulbs from the rides lit up the sky. At the edge of the Hoppings Fair can be found the numerous Romany fortune tellers who have visited the fair since it began. They are as much a part of the Hoppings as the Walser, Dodgems, Hoopla and Candyfloss. Names such as Lee and Petalengro have become legendary as generations have revisited them over the years. This is probably because the fortune tellers rarely give anyone bad news. Today we are paying a visit to Sarah, the palm reader, who has given advice to many people, including the famous.
Well, constantly on the phone to me. Constantly on the phone. Mainly wondering what they're doing, if they're doing on the right or the wrong thing, where their occupation is concerned, and probably little parts of their own life that just want to be put right. And offhand, I can think of 6 different individual people that phones me every week. Every week, just to find out if things are right for them. I was at Alnwick Castle, and this is before she became the Prime Minister, and she came into the caravan for a reading. I didn't realise who she was at the time, because faces means nothing to me, and gave her the reading, blah blah blah, and she was quite happy with it, and all her friends outside when she went out, was things, but a reading is a private and confidential thing, keep to yourself. 12 months later, that's when she became the Prime Minister, and she sent a letter. I've still got the letters, obviously, in the box somewhere, thanking me for helping her to get on the... I know there's a lot of people wouldn't be thanking me. I think a lot of people might be stringing me up if they ever know. A lot of young people, I do get a lot of young people, and over a lot of different fairs that I go to, that want to do things and wondering if they're doing the right way, where they haven't got the backing of the parents. So they need some advice from an older person just to put them on the right track. And that's where I get the satisfaction, because maybe 12 months, 18 months later, they come down to see me again, and they'll say, I've done it, I've done this, I've done that, or whatever they were doing, and I'm happy, and thank you very much for putting me on that track.
The 80s saw a massive advance in technology which completely transformed the skyline of the Hoppings, with new rides catapulting people in every conceivable direction. Rides like the Quasar challenged older rides like the Astronaut. Even the Walser went high-tech, with metal platforms and illuminated cars, as featured on Cordona's Hellraiser, which surprisingly no longer visits the Hoppings. The old Twist did a somersault as the King loops. The Twist also soon took to the air as the Orbiter. The original Mont Blanc transformed into the Ghostbuster, Alpine Express and Rhythm Master. The looping star defied gravity. And the zipper just kept on zipping. Rides like the Enterprise came and went faster than a tin of beans on a supermarket shelf. This sideshow and the name Ron Taylor is a legend at the Hoppings. His great-grandfather was a bare-knuckle fighter, and his grandmother used to fight with gloves on. Visitors to his boxing and wrestling booth have seen locals being thumped left, right and centre over the years. Turner's waltzer has the longest history of any waltzer still at the Hoppings, dating back to 1939 when it was brand new Noah's Ark owned by Will Starr. It was bought by Uncle Too Good in 1949.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock.
He converted it into a waltzer in 1955, sporting a new front featuring Bill Haley and his Comets.
Yes, because Bill Haley was like Topsy in around then. And Nacho was painted on the face front, Bill Haley and his Comets. A fella from Benmore painted him called Jackie Paget, one of the finest painters you've ever known.
Uncle updated the front in the early 70s, featuring more traditional scroll designs. Ownership passed to Keith Turner in the late 70s, who had the front repainted in its now familiar darker colours, and the ride became known as the Imperial Waltzer and later as Rolling Thunder.
This ride, I'm led to believe, started its life in 1939 by Lakins. Too Goods bought it in 1944, thereabouts, 49 I think. They bought it at the Speedway. Then they travelled with the Speedway and they converted in about 1955 into the waltzer what you see today. But when you say the waltzer starting its life in 1939, there's nothing there left which started its life of 1939. In them days it was made by Lakins, which now is a Maxwell Centre, Maxwell rounding boards. So basically it's changed over and it's basically a Maxwell machine because it went into Maxwell's and it was all renovated in, I think it was 1962, thereabouts. It was all renovated, new rounding boards on the top. One of the things about it, which people don't understand, when we took it over in 1979, all the contracts were signed on the Wednesday, Thursday that we took it over and we paid for it, but we didn't take it over until the Saturday. The reason being, we don't buy anything new on a Friday and earn money. We were superstitious. So everything was signed, they had the Friday night's takings, then we come out and we took over on the Saturday. But the ride itself, it's become, as I said once before, it's part of me. And it'll want to be part of the lads, and what else do you want to know?
The 1990s saw the theme of Rolling Thunder extended to include striking new designs on the waltzer cars. One man who has witnessed most of the changes to the ride is Ginger Johnny, who has travelled with it for more than 40 years.
For recognition of 40 years on the fairgrounds, with Too Goods and with Keith over the last 40 years. And thanks very much for being nice to all of us, and this as well, John. Get rid of the fag, that's it. Congratulations, John.
He remembers right back to the time when he used to travel with Uncle Too Good.
You want to say something?
More like a second dad to me, him. Really good man. He teaches you how to do things and all that. And he did spend a lot of time with me, more or less, but I took interest in it. I did miss him. He showed us everything what I know about this now. When he sold the machine, he sold me with it. It's changed a lot since Keith bought it, in other words. He spent a hell of a lot of money on it, in other words. He's upgraded it. spent a lot of money in that and put new lights and everything on. Now it's got a different atmosphere. It'll still be popular. Still be popular, and it's faster now, faster than what it used to be. But it's getting over faster now, as far as I'm concerned. That must be me getting a bit too old, like.
Here we are, bang up to date as the 2004 Hoppins Fair is being assembled, where the rides of the 21st century rub shoulders with the traditional roundabouts of the 1800s. The showman's views on technology versus tradition are, as you might expect, varied. Firstly, James Mellors Jr., a pioneer of the new spectacular rides at the Hoppins, talks about the past and the future.
My family's been coming here now for about 28 years, 30 years. And the first ride my father came with actually stood on this very same position where we are now. He came with a skydiving ride. We called it the paratrooper. Some people called it the umbrellas. And that just lifted up in the air and came back down. Times change. You go to Alton Towers, you have all these big roller coasters, big dippers, you have multiplex cinemas. You know, everything is going forward, so we have to go forward with the business. If you stay here now with the old umbrellas ride, people wouldn't really look at it no more. You've got to move with the times, and that's what our business has done. Now, all of a sudden, the past 5 years, I think our business has really boomed. You see the big roller coasters, we have the Big Ben Tower, we have booster rides. Just about anything you can see in a theme park, you can now see it on the road travelling. There's only so many large fairs in this country, so we really attend most of those large fairs. You still have to do your small fairs, they're your bread and butter, as we call it. I don't know if you've heard it before, yes. But if you go to your smaller fairs, you get your bread and butter on your table. So you still have to do those fairs, and then you look forward to the big fairs like the Hoppins to give us a bit of a boost. So, I mean, we do the Nottingham Goose Fair, Hull Fair. We try and attend them all. It's going to get more complex, but it is getting a harder business. You know, the expenses side of it, everything is getting so expensive now. Unfortunately, you see a lot of showmen that have been in the business for years are having to drop out. They just can't afford to keep doing it. Luckily for us, we're in a good position where we have the big rides now, and we are getting a lot of riders and things. But I think it is getting hard for a lot of people. The expenses and things are really starting to kill us now.
It'll transform. It'll probably finish up with more lights, but the principle of the ride will still be there, because a waltzer's a waltzer at the end of the day, and people have their own memories. We different places we go, we see the people coming back year after year, and then they bring the kids on and they remember riding on it. That's what fairgrounds are about, magic, isn't it? The magic coming into their area for a certain period, And if they don't come on them particular days, we've gone. You know, we have an opening and closing time, but they can't come back next week. The atmosphere is here now at Newcastle. Dodgems is universal. Dodgems and Ghost Train worldwide. Waltzes, we tried Singapore, and they're not universal. But in this country, a waltz is a waltzer, and it seems to be the main part of a fairground. People enjoy it. I think what it is as well, a family can get on there, they can jump on there with your 2 little ones or 3 little ones and sit in the car. You know that you're safe, you're going to have a ride in a waltz, you're going to stop, you're going to get off. This technology going up in the air and flying about, you can't take your little one on and keep hold of them, can you? So maybe that's where the waltzer will always win, and it'll be a bit of a family traditional ride, you know.
Because of the nostalgic timelessness of them. I mean, I think the stalls, even though you've got your computer games and you've got everything that's race and technology, there's still that thing. People still want to throw, they still want to shoot, they still want to do the old-time games, and the waltz is timeless.
But of course, it's the general public who decide what the showmen keep and what they get rid of. Because no matter how pretty a ride looks, if the public don't want it, it's just not worth keeping.
Likes of the Hoppins for big fairs, there is a good future, because the likes of Newcastle and Hull Fair and Nottingham, you get people coming out because it's tradition. Even like the Newcastle people, if it rains at the Hoppins, you still get them coming out with the Wellingtons on and plunging through the Clarks or whatever. It's like a way of life to the people around Newcastle. The Hoppins, it's one of the fairs where they come out to. Smaller fairs, I'm not so sure about. The old style of going on the village green and opening with a small fair is gradually fading away. It has to be a large type fair to fetch people out more or less now. You can't, like I've just said, you can't go to a village green and put 2 or 3 stalls up and like they used to be able to do and open for maybe the weekend. That will gradually phase out, and there will be, not as large as this one, but there will be large fairs travelling, and they'll be the focal point of the area. The modern rides today, the high-speed rides, cater for all the young ones, but you've still got to have something for the families. The family has got to be catered for, because without the families, the fair couldn't survive. The smaller rides, like I operate myself, without the women and children coming up, it would be unsatisfactory. It wouldn't be feasible to try and just cater to teenagers, which is the same with some of the big rides. They've got to cater for the older type people. They can't just keep going for the young all the time. So you usually get a good selection of different types of equipment, no matter which fair you go on.
This is not like it was before. This is not a fun fair as such now. This is a travelling theme park. And you yourself can see, there's not one bad piece of equipment on this ground. I mean, I defy anybody to pick the fault with any of this equipment on here, even down to the transport. You know, that's just the way things have evolved over the years and everything's improved.
They'll always be there. That's tradition. It's not only tradition, it's what people remember about fairgrounds. You say a carousel, everyone knows it. Every country knows what a carousel is. And a carousel is the galloping horses. And that's the roundabouts of the day. Of the days gone by, I should say, but it's still as popular today as it was then. But look at the scenery on those galloping horses, look at the paintwork, look at the carved work, see the lighting on them now. They always had good lighting on them, but the lighting on them is tremendous today. It's all artistic work, and people still appreciate that kind of work. Even the young people appreciate it.
And the new technology can be used to cleverly preserve the more traditional designs.
This ride is only actually about 14 years old, because it's an exact copy of the original what my father-in-law owns.
The history of the Hoppins at the Town Moor spans 3 different centuries, 2 world wars, man landing on the moon, and the birth of computer technology. But there's still one ingredient which is essential for a successful Hoppins, which is completely out of our control: the weather.
A bit of good weather, a bit of good sunshine, and a good turnout, and hopefully we go back off with a few quid.
That we have a safe Hoppings, as far as the public are concerned, I'm sure we will. That we have good weather for the benefit of all concerned, and that everyone, the local people, because I'm a Geordie myself, I hope they all enjoy themselves and have a wonderful time.
Dry weather, that's the main thing.
The people will come if it's fair. That's one thing I will say about Newcastle. I'm from Newcastle myself, and if it's fair weather, they always come.
They're expecting over 1 million people here,
And I mean, obviously a lot depends on the weather, but they deserve it, you know. They work hard. I mean, they come here, it's a big get-together for all the showmen, they meet old friends. It's tremendous.
It's, you see all your friends here. Somebody gets married here. Before now, people's died here. Because there's a lot of us here. And it's a big get-together. Like tonight we'll have the barbecue. Everybody will be there singing and dancing and having a drink. You're not really going down there for anything to eat. We've got plenty to eat. We've got plenty to drink in our own trailers. But it's just a get-together.
Saying that you can't always knock the coconuts off on every stall.
You can knock them off here, it's just got it in the right place. They're not glued on.
As a kid, I think everybody's dad gave them a budget for the hoppings. You can spend this much and this much only. The decisions had to be made. 3 hooker ducks or the waltzer. 3 hooker ducks or the waltzer. So after 2 toffee apples, a candy floss, a bacon sandwich, a beef burger and some hot dogs, decision was made. The waltzer. No sooner are the hoppings here than they're gone. In the blink of an eye, the field is almost empty. The massive hoppings fair splits up into small town and village fairs for the rest of the year. So, if they pull into a place near you, no matter how small the fair, give it a visit and keep the travelling showmen and their unique tradition as part of our heritage.
He's a showman on the road, man, like his father before, in his blood forevermore. He's a showman.
It's a life you don't get anywhere else. We're all for each other.
These scenes are far too sad to end such a happy tale. So, let's go back to the final night of the Hoppings and one last ride on the Walser. Hold tight and it'll be all right.
Hold on to your baby. Hold on tight. Hold on to your baby. Everything gonna be alright. I remember the warm summer nights, a flying saucer spinning in the lights. In that old Dodgem car, we didn't drive too far, but now I'm riding with my dog.